I talk, you listen, or you turn the channel. Either way, I'm still going to talk. Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. Sorry we took last week off, but to be honest with you, I just didn't feel like putting in the work. So why didn't? Apparently we got no repeats either, because something happened with the Nexus, the way they have to change the dates on the shows, and the Nexus recorded at 7 o'clock last Thursday night. Recorded a black studio. So it was probably one of my best. Yeah. All right, but this week is going to be kind of good too. I don't know where to start. So let me start with this one because let me start with this one. Because in Columbus, Ohio, Lee is back from his vacation. That's where he vacationed this year. Out to see his family in Columbus. And apparently this week in Columbus, Ohio, a death row inmate who is scheduled for execution says he can't be executed because he's too fat. Yeah, too fat. He says the executioners would probably have a hard time finding his veins because of all the fat, and that the fact that he's fat would diminish the effectiveness of one of the lethal injection drugs.
Well, like ludicrous thing.
It's and it's just an excuse, you know. Oh, you can't put me to death because I'm too fat. They can't find my veins. The drugs won't work. So hang him. Then his weight would be an advantage, right? So I'm sure they'll figure something out, you know. They could hit him with a truck, or you know. Shoot him. I mean, they make bullets that'll take elephants down, which, you know, that's, Bruce and I were talking earlier today about the whole gun issue thing. And Bruce says, we just got to get rid of guns. But we don't have to get rid of guns. Just get rid of bullets. You can have all the guns in the world, just don't have any bullets. People can wave their guns all around, you know, ooh. But they won't be a threat because guns don't kill people and people don't kill people. Bullets actually kill people. So
I bet you if I hit you with a gun, it'd still hurt.
Yeah, it still hurts.
it would probably hurt, yeah.
If I threw a 9mm at your head.
But, I mean, if you were standing outside that apple tree that was outside our window here at the studio, I bet when that toppled over and it hit you, it would have hurt too. But we noticed that tonight.
But did it make a sound?
Apparently not, because I didn't hear it. I've been here all day. And when Tarzan came, he said, hey, what happened to the tree outside the window? And it's laid right down on the ground. I don't know. So, what I do know is that...
So if a tree falls in the woods, it makes a sound, but if it falls in the open, you probably won't hear it?
If it falls in the woods, it probably makes a sound. If it falls in the city, nobody cares. It's pretty much what it is. Because somebody must have been driving by. I mean, it's on the West Street side of the building. Somebody driving by must have looked over and went, hey, that apple tree just fell down.
Free apples.
Maybe. They're not that good apples, Rob. They're only them little tiny green ones.
But they're real easy to pick right now.
They are very easy to pick right now. I had to call the city manager's office this morning. I was going to give John a hard time, but he wasn't in his office. And after I hung up and sat for 5 minutes, I kind of cooled down. It's August, and the potholes have just gotten worse this year. Usually we go through the potholes in the spring, we bitch and complain about them, by August, there's no more need to bitch and complain about potholes until this year. I was coming back from a delivery last night in my brand new car and hit a pothole up by Robin Hood Park. As soon as I hit the pothole, I heard tss, 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 the air coming out of my tire. $116 to get it fixed. Luckily, there are people in the area that do that kind of work. And I was told MC Wheel in Swansea is the place to go. I found out different today. Franz also does that work. So if you bend a rim, I mean, either one of those places is a great alternative to going out and spending $800 or $900 on a new aluminum alloy wheel. 17-inch. And see, this is what I don't understand. All the cars these days, even the little compact cars, have huge wheels on them. And tires for that size wheel are outrageous.
You get less tire for more money.
Exactly. Years ago, in the 80s, I had a little Mustang 2. Little 4-cylinder engine. It had 13-inch tires. I could get tires for $20 at Tire Warehouse, mounted and balanced. Not anymore. You're looking probably for a tire for these new cars. They're probably $150 to $200 a piece. And then, of course, if you buy them at Tire Warehouse will sell you the valve stem for $2 and, you know, the valve cover for another $1. And, I mean, they get you every little thing is figured into the prices, even the air. Somebody told me to put nitrogen in the tires because it's more economical as far as you don't have to check your tires as often.
Right, it maintains the pressure better, doesn't expand and contract with the cold, and you won't get condensation like you do with air.
Right, right. But, I mean, there has to be a place to fill them. And I don't know, I haven't checked around to see if there's any places in Keene that do nitrogen. What happens if you get a blowout? I mean, isn't that an explosive gas or something? It's not? Okay.
No,
I don't know.
helium.
But Tire Warehouse, most of the tire places offer that service now, but there is a fee for using the nitrogen. So
Right. Right.
it's something else that costs more, even though it's a good idea. But
So I see a better idea is helium
No.
because it keeps the weight off of the car.
Yeah, but isn't that flammable?
Helium, yeah, that's extremely flammable.
Yeah, that's fine
But-
when you use
that's
it.
hydrogen you're thinking of.
Yeah.
The Hindenburg hydrogen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Helium makes you talk funny.
Ah,
That's right, but it floats. So put helium in your tires, and maybe it would be better.
is that bad for the environment?
I don't know. It might be bad. Everything's bad for the environment.
The Mythbusters tried that with a football, and it didn't fly any further.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I guess just air.
So I wouldn't use footballs on your car.
But the important thing is the air. And, I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of time to watch the news this week, but I did catch the fact that Barack Obama has suggested that if everybody keeps their tires properly inflated, we won't have to drill for oil, and we won't use as much oil, and things will be better. But I don't know. John McCain says drill anywhere. I don't care. Just bring us oil. Meanwhile, all our money's still going to Iraq to help them rebuild. But I heard last night, Iraq, the country of Iraq has $10 billion, I think it was $10 billion, in the Federal Reserve Bank in New York City, deposited, and they're earning American interest for their money. But yet we're still paying to rebuild their country with our tax money. So I'm just saying, The sooner we can get out of Iraq, cut all our ties with Iraq, you know, go look, you're on your own. We gave you the basis for a government. You know, you're on your own. Figure after the Revolutionary War, how long did it take us to get our act together and form the greatest country on earth?
Oh, wow.
It took a long time.
Yeah. Couple hundred
You know,
years.
actually, yeah, they're still trying to figure it out, but it's getting better. What else has been going on? Nothing. I'll save everything else till after crew call, I guess. Regular crew this week. Camera one, we have Rob back with us for another couple of weeks before the hardcore training starts.
Well, next week. This,
Next-
this is probably my last.
This is your last week.
Yeah,
Oh, we would have got you a cake.
Well, it's not too late.
All right. All right. Maybe I'll bring a cake up this weekend or
Sounds
something.
like a plan.
All right.
All right.
On camera three, we got Greg, as usual. And in the booth, due to the weather, we're down one Andrea.
We are down one Andrea again, so unfortunately I get to play in here by myself, and hopefully I don't screw too much up. I wasn't sure if your sound was up all the way when we first came on, because I wasn't hearing it here in the booth, but the light bar was up and it looked like it was registering, so I'm hoping everything went out fine. Maybe it was just a loose connection here and on the board for me, but since Andrea's not here, I get to do the NASCAR report. This past week we had the Sunoco Red Cross Pocono 500 held at Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania.
Little more interesting than Indy.
More interesting than Indy. We didn't have any tire issues to speak of, and we didn't have NASCAR throwing cautions every 12 laps to control the race and the outcome thereof. So I was pretty disappointed with Indy, and I was very happy that we had the last week off, because it would have been a rant session and probably wouldn't have been pretty. But I'll give you a quick rundown on the top finishers and a couple of notables to us at least. But Carl Edwards ended up winning the race, followed by Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick in fourth, David Reagan in fifth, made a good showing. Clint Boyer in sixth, Casey Kane, Mark Martin, Jamie McMurray, and Jeff Gordon finished out the top 10. A couple of notables for us, Dale Jr., my guy, finished in 12th. Martin Truex Jr., Andrea's guy, finished in 15th. Didn't help him much to bring up in the points, but at least he had a respectable finish. And Denny Hamlin, after having to pit late for fuel, finished in 23rd.
Ooh.
So unfortunately, that didn't help his cause much, but he is still in the top 12 in points. So
He's barely. Actually, he's midway or something, isn't he?
I was just getting ready to tell you the current standings, so you will
All
find
right.
out here momentarily. But Kyle Busch is still in first with Dale Jr. right behind him. Carl Edwards moved up 2 spots to third. Jimmy Johnson in fourth. Jeff Burton dropped 2 spots to fifth. So those two guys traded places basically. We have Jeff Gordon in sixth. Casey Kane came up 2 to seventh. Greg Biffle dropped 1 to eighth. Tony Stewart up 1 to ninth. Denny Hamlin dropped 2 spots to 10th. So that's where he's at right now. And Kevin Harvick, by virtue of his finish, came up 2 positions to 11th. So now he's back up in the top 12 along with Clint Boyer, his teammate, in 12th place. The closest guys to him, Matt Kenseth, dropped out of the top 12 now, and he's only about 20 points behind Clint Boyer. So anything can happen at this point. We've still got a few races to go. I believe it's 5 or 6. I didn't bother to count before we came on down this evening. But a couple of things happened this week. Martin Truex has been on the fence as far as re-signing with DEI or going somewhere else, but he announced today that he has re-signed with DEI. Will be driving the number 1 car, Bass Pro Shops, through 2010. The number 96 car, Hall of Fame Racing, their driver was released, J.J. Yaley, because they are right now 36th in points, and it's a performance-based type of a sport, so they let him go, and they're going to have Brad Coleman come up from the Nationwide Series and take over the ride for that car. Next week, this coming week, we have the Centurion Boats at the Glen at Watkins Glen International over New York. It's the second road course for the year, and we've got 45 drivers that are going to attempt to qualify for that ride or for that race. But this week, as far as racing goes on TV, we've got all 3 series racing. We got the Sprint Cup at Watkins Glen Sunday at 1 o'clock on ESPN. We'll be able to watch the Nationwide Series at Watkins Glen as well. They're racing Saturday at 2:30 on ABC, and then Saturday night, if you like the Truck Series, they're going to be at Nashville, and you can see them 7 o'clock on Speed Channel. Other than that, that's about it. There aren't any points infractions or anybody that got their hands slapped from this past week, so it was a pretty uneventful race, other than the fact that Carl Edwards won. Got to do his backflip.
Nice.
Life out here in Keene for Bruce has been all right this week.
Good.
About snapped last week. I was having a really rough week with work, but was able to just let it go and relax for the weekend, and came in with a fresh outlook this week. So trying not to let the machine beat me up anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
But, no, other than that, it's been pretty good. So we shall give it back to you, my man.
Excellent. Thank you, Bruce.
Talk to you.
And yeah, there's been some news here at Cheshire TV too. I believe starting next week, we're going to start filming the races down at Monadnock Speedway. And I guess from now till the end of the season, we're going to cover it with one camera. And then I believe starting next season, depending on the availability of volunteers and stuff, we're going to do complete race coverage to air on, well, I believe we'll tape the races on Saturdays and air them on Sundays. So for those of you who like the local racing, you'll be able to, and can't get down to Monadnock Speedway, you'll be able to just watch the races, follow your favorite local drivers right here on Cheshire TV. I think it's a great thing. We've also just started I haven't seen it yet, but I believe it's called Victory Circle NASCAR show. It's, I believe, a weekly roundup of the NASCAR scene, and that's been airing here.
Who does that show?
Somebody from over in Bellows Falls, I think. I'm not sure if it's Dwayne Cody or not, but I know the gentleman that does Mr. and Mrs. Karaoke, he was the one that actually presented the idea to Lee about the racing stuff. So, I mean, I think it's just one more thing that's added on. You know, it broadens us out a little bit. Lee expects to want to be covering high school basketball games, which I think is a great thing. You know, I mean, the radio station's done it for years, and people in Keene are interested.
Unfortunately, it's not something Lee can do by himself.
Right.
That's why the general public is urged to come down and either volunteer or to sign out equipment and do things for themselves. And
Exactly.
TV, we'd be happy to air anything that's brought to them.
Oh, and they will air anything. I mean, people have noticed I started at the end of my show using the clips of stuff that I filmed myself. Tonight, I've got another one. But it's a tribute to Ken Arnold and the show that he does, Room 207, because that's real people filming stuff. You know, it's nothing, you know, I'm sure Ken does a little bit of planning before he shoots, but it's basically like if you were going out on vacation. Everybody does their home movies. So why not, if you get, you know, your favorite little spot, your favorite video that you've taken, bring it down here to Cheshire TV and have it aired. Show off your cinematic talent. Yeah. You know, and it doesn't have to be good. We've proven that time and time again with shows. You know, but if they air, that's the important thing. And it's, you know, I'll use the example that everybody seems to like to use is the Monopoly game. Granted, I mean, it wasn't riveting television. You know, it wasn't like the OJ trial or anything like that. But then again, people will sit and watch C-SPAN all day. You know? And watch them people just milling about and doing nothing. And they'll sit and watch that for hours and hours and hours. It's C-SPAN after all. You got to find out what's going on in Washington. That's what you got to watch. And most of the time, what you see is a bunch of old dudes just hanging around, jarring at each other. And I don't know. But I mean, if the Monopoly game was all right, like I said, I mean, we actually had somebody say they wanted to start filming Scrabble games. I mean, that might be good too. It would be educational because you'd see a lot of words. I don't know. Maybe if they did Scrabble and then you have to give the meaning of the word and how it's used in a sentence or something like that. I don't know. But, stupid. All right. We'll shoot it down into the bunker. Say hello to Tarzan. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Rick, how the hell are you tonight, Rick?
Not bad.
You know, right off the top, Rick, as usual, old man Tarzan's like to give his best to all the families that have loved ones in this holy war we're in over there in Iraqistan, Afghanistan, and ever what else stands that we are in. Hey, can you guys hear me tonight, Rick?
Yeah, we're working on Tarzan.
What we got going on, Rick, is this week's Stop the Madness, Rick, happens to go to President Bush again. You know, I happened to hear his little speech about how he's going to be going to Beijing, China. Lame duck president's going to Beijing, China to do what? To help support the athletes. My opinion, Rick, I think the athletes have enough support as it is. I think they walk around with an athletic supporter on as it is. I think they got enough sponsors, they got enough cash in their pockets, and they got enough free gifts. I don't think the president has anything going on over there that he can do that's going to support anything. It's just another thing that he can put in his war museum when he gets out of office. As we all know, they all build these great big museums, and then they decide what they're going to put in it and what event they were capitalizing on. This is just a big wash, in my opinion. And I would never wish harm on the president. I hope this doesn't turn into a bad dream and something happens over there, because it seems like Beijing, China is just about ready to explode as it is. Within the last 2 or 3 days or weeks, we've had some pretty disturbing news come out of there about the rioters and about the stuff that's going to go on, and I hope they can calm that region down. My second Stop the Madness this week, Rick, has to go to every store clerk in the United States of America who happens to have old man Tarzan come in as a customer. Okay? Well, old man Tarzan, that would be me, ladies and gentlemen, comes up to the counter with 15 items. No, I do want a bag. Yes, please put it in a bag. No, I'm not going to carry 15 items out into the parking lot and end up with 7 after I get home because I just dropped everything in the freaking ground. Stop asking old man Tarzan if he's lost. He's not lost. He's just double checking to make sure that he can get a better deal on something that he might have walked by. Stop asking old man Tarzan, that would be me. Stop the madness if he's okay. What's the problem? Why are you wearing the belt? What's going on today? It's just the Dollar Tree, lady. I'm just there to get some AA batteries and get the heck out of your face. There's no need to get along in a conversation about what's going on with old man Tarzan. That would be me. Okay? Let's just stop the madness right there. Now, Rick, this week, KBK, they do their astrology calling in, which is okay with me. I don't have a problem with that, since how it's not my show anyways. And I heard nothing but sad stories, and people getting divorced, people losing their relationships. Now, this takes a lot of cojones to go on the radio and talk about your relationship with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or with your dog, whatever. Stop the madness. Stop it. Stop. Talk about something else. Ask if you're going to hit the lottery. Don't worry about if your spouse is going out with Kathy, the freaking waitress, because he probably is anyways. Stop, okay? And another one this week, Rick. Stop the madness, and then I'll get off the air. stop coming into old man Tarzan's lane when there's a double yellow line. That would be me, yes. Stop coming into my lane. Stop acting like you didn't see me. Stop acting like I didn't just flip you off. Okay? It's not going to happen. Old man Tarzan, that would be me, will flip you off. As a matter of fact, he might slam the brakes on and jump out of his car and try to track you down. Because I just can't believe this has happened to me 3 times in 1 week. Oh, yes, people of Harrisville, that would be you. But you happen to not get Time Warner, so you probably won't even see old man Tarzan beaching. That would be me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And another hat's off to anybody out there that happens to go into these swift waters. I hope you're wearing a preserver. I hope you can do the dog paddle. I hope you can do the backstroke. Stop going near these waters. Just stop doing it. Stop doing it, okay? We're losing 4 people in 1 week in the drownings. What the heck's that all about, ladies and gentlemen? Okay? If you're not a strong swimmer, you don't want to wear a life preserver, stay away from the banks.
That's natural selection.
You know, Rick, if you got anything to add to what old man Tarzan just said, old man Tarzan's out of here.
Thank you, my friend. What a great segment. Yeah, Tarzan's got very little tolerance for people that act stupid. Oh, man. I just picked out some great stupid facts for later. I want to talk a little bit about this TV show. No, I won't do that yet. I did the fat thing. Let's talk about this. Because there's not much really to report. I didn't look into it. I just saw it in Tuesday's paper. Seems that vandals have struck again. Not in Keene. Well, I'm sure they did in Keene too, but this was in Plymouth, Mass. Somebody vandalized Plymouth Plantation. Damaged 8 houses, smashed fence sections, and stole furs and other items from the replica Pilgrim Village. They discovered the damage this past Saturday, and the security guard that was on duty didn't report any disturbances. But apparently the vandals broke the locks on the houses, smashed crockery, and left hatchet marks on the inside of the walls, uprooted plants, stole reproduction armor, several beaver and otter furs, and other household items. And the officials gave no damage estimate. And the tours are still going on. So, but how anybody can do that to a historic site, and I haven't been there since I was a little kid. I can't remember what grade we went to Plymouth Plantation in, but every class, I think, still goes to Plymouth Plantation during their educational time. Plymouth Plantation and Sturbridge Village and all those little historic. I mean, Plymouth Plantation was where the first Americans landed, where our entire country started, right there in Plymouth Plantation. I don't know. It's
That's when the invasion started.
That's when we actually came in and invaded this country, and we've been here ever since. So, but I see by the clock on the wall, it's getting pretty close to the take a break time. So, while you watch the Mom's Tattoo musical interlude, I'll get my crap together for the second half of the show. This is Fireside, Long Before Techno tonight.
awake to all the dreams of my life. Some are held hostage by the edge of this bitter knife, this bitter knife, this bitter knife, which cuts so deeply into my brain. And the falsest poems like these stem from the pain. Elusive and arrogant, they come as they please. And when they leave, all that's left in me, yeah, well, this bitter night, no, this bitter night, cut all the dreams of my life, cut all the dreams of my life. Vicious snake words crawl out and I say, I'll never grasp the true nature of this game. The truth is terrible, the lies are just too plain. With the falsest poem like these stem from the pain. Yeah, well, this bitter night, oh, this bitter night, cut all the dreams of my life, cut all the dreams of my life. I woke up dreaming, I can't shake the sleep from my eyes. And I woke up dreaming of this bitter night. And I woke up dreaming, I can't shake the sleep from my eyes. And I woke up dreaming the edge of this bitter night. Yeah, well, this bitter night, oh, this bitter night, cut all the dreams of my life, cut all the dreams of my life. Well, cut me so deep and watch me bleed. Well, I am so cut by these dreams I see. Well, cut me so deep, yes, and watch me bleed. Well, I am so cut by these dreams I see. Yeah, well, this bitter night, Lord, this bitter night, cut all the dreams of my life, cut all the dreams of my life.
And I had made a mention 2 weeks ago about the email that Andrea sent me with the pictures of the beautiful prison. Well, here's a little comparison that they had at the end of that. In prison, you spend most of your time in a 10 by 10 cell. At work, you spend most of your time in a 6 by 6 cubicle. In prison, you get 3 fully paid meals a day. At work, you get a break for 1 meal and you have to pay for it. In prison, for good behavior, you get time off. At work, for good behavior, you get more work. In prison, a guard locks and unlocks and opens and closes all the doors for you. At work, you got to carry a security card and open the doors yourself. In prison, you can watch TV and play games. At work, you get fired for watching TV and playing games. Unless it's your job to watch TV and play games. In prison, you get your own toilet.
Mine's 5.
That's right. At work, you have to share the toilet with people that pee on the seat. Yeah. And don't wipe it off afterwards. In prison, they allow family and friends to visit. At work, they frown upon family and friends visiting. In prison, all expenses are paid by the taxpayers with no work required on your part. At work, you got to pay all your expenses to go to work, and they deduct taxes from your salary to pay for the prisoners. In prison, you spend most of your life inside bars wanting to get out. And at work, you spend most of your time wanting to get out and go inside bars. In prison, you got to deal with sadistic wardens. At work, they're just called bosses. So, figure all those in, pros and cons, and you too will find out. Prison, it's more than just a retirement plan. That's right. And somebody's got to be going to prison, apparently. This dude, and I don't know where this happened, but apparently this guy went to Subway to get a sandwich, and they didn't put enough hot sauce on it or something. So he called 911. And they told him that he can't call 911 for bad service at Subway. Well, apparently something else happened, and he went back into Subway. Oh, he went outside to make the phone call, and the Subway people locked him out. So he called 911 again. And told them the cops weren't coming fast enough, and that he was having these problems with the Subway people. And the cops came down and took him away, lectured him on proper use of 911. You can't just call 911 every time you're having a bad day and go help. I wish you could. But, I couldn't even call 911 when I hit that pothole up there. That probably would have been a legitimate thing. Call 911 and go, I hit a pothole, I blew out my tire, and I've got whiplash. Who's going to pay for that? But the city will file a claim with their insurance company if you report your incidences to the city. But I was told today that 99% of the time they don't honor the claims. The claims are never paid. So, something that struck me the other night as I was driving around, and for some reason I was thinking about 9/11, the whole Trade Center and stuff like that. I know what it was. It was because that girl at Karaoke Idol had come up to me and told me I said something 2 weeks ago that really shocked her, and she couldn't believe that I said it on TV. And of course, this was on Friday, the day after I taped the show, and I couldn't remember what I said. But I finally ran it down, and I said, oh, you mean when I was talking about the World Trade Center and the fact that the terrorists bombed the wrong building? And she said, yeah. She says, I couldn't believe you said that. And I went, well, I just said it. She goes, as soon as you said it, I went, and that's exactly the reaction I shoot for. But it dawned on me, if our emergency phone calling number instead of 911 was 511, would the terrorists have bombed the World Trade Center in May? Just a question. I always thought that was the hidden meaning behind the 9/11 attacks, was because it was 9/11, 911, emergency. I don't know. I can't think of any other reason why it would be 9/11. And then I started doing progressions in my head, trying to figure out when the next attack was based on the 9/11 thing.
411.
So 9/11, the next one should be maybe like 10/12 or 10/13 or something. But I haven't been able to figure out any kind of mathematical equation for when the next terrorist attack is going to happen. But hey, you know, the Olympics are starting, and the Olympics have always been great targets for terrorists. I don't know. And in China, I mean, China is a communist country, and apparently they're throwing people out of their houses in order to put up people that are coming for the Olympics, or some god-awful thing like that. The thing that I can't understand is that they didn't build any, like, modern bathroom facilities. All of the bathrooms at the Olympics, I believe, are squat toilets where you kind of hover over the hole in the floor. I don't know. It's why we even went is beyond me. I mean, we've boycotted Olympics before. I can't remember when the last one was that we boycotted.
Russia.
It was Russia.
Russia.
And I mean, I don't think the point got across, I think, that we were upset at what was going on. But by making that point, we did take some athletes' only chance at playing in the Olympics. So somebody said the Olympics are the one thing that brings the entire world together. I was like, no, they're not. The Olympics is just when all the countries, once every 4 years, all the countries get together and pretend like we tolerate each other. And that's pretty much what it is. Kind of like the whole, when last week, Green Bay Packers, of course, everybody knows Brett Favre's been trying to come back into football after he said he was retired.
Really?
He wants to do like a race car driver thing, you know. So I'll say I'm retired, and then I'll drive still. Roger Clemens has done it.
Michael Jordan.
The Green Bay Packers actually told Brett Favre, look, we'll give you $20 million not to play football, just to stay home. Apparently they were taking tips from the U.S. government. They said, well, just offer him not to play, like we do with the farmers. You know? Give him money to go away. But it didn't work. He apparently he's got signed by the Jets.
The Jets.
New York Jets.
Yeah,
On Wednesday nights. They traded him.
yeah, like 11 o'clock. Like,
So,
crazy. Yeah.
well, if nobody noticed, on Thursday night when we were filming this show, it sounds like we're having a heck of a thunderstorm out there. It's nice. That seems to be the pattern, though. Past couple of weeks, I mean, it's no wonder I was in such a horrible mood last week with all the rain, and then this week with all the rain. I was listening to K-Rock last night while I was delivering, and Jim Schnell, whatever his name is, the nighttime DJ, he was talking when it came around to the top of the hour and he had to give the weather. He didn't call it the forecast. He called it the crapcast. And he didn't seem real thrilled to be announcing tonight, chance of rain, tomorrow, chance of rain, Saturday, chance of rain, Sunday, chance of rain, Monday, chance of rain, Tuesday, chance of rain, we're never going to get global warming off the ground if we don't bring the sun out.
Yeah, there's no chance of sun somewhere.
There's no chance of sun. And the temperature's been all over the place. I mean, at 1 o'clock this afternoon, I was sweating like a pig. Just before the show, when we went out to have our last smoke before the show, it's cooled right down. I mean, the air actually feels really nice. And it's no wonder why Andrea's head's killing her, the way this weather's been. Unbelievable. All right. Here's another story that I just got a piece of, so I'm going to make up a whole bunch of crap about it, probably. Tyson Foods, it seems, is buckling to religious pressure. What they want to do is they want to change their Labor Day holiday for some Muslim holiday. I'm not sure which Muslim holiday, but apparently take Labor Day away from the American laborers and go, well, we're going to take this Muslim holiday off instead. I don't understand it. I mean, if we're going to run our businesses and our states and everything along religious holiday calendars, well, then I'm going to convert every other day. I'll be a Christian for Christmas. I'll be, Jewish for whatever good holidays they have. I'll be Muslim for all their holidays. If I've got enough religions, I never have to go to work because every day will be some type of holiday. I go, oh, no. I'm a Hindu, so I get tomorrow off because it's Thursday. And Hindus don't work on Thursday, or I could be, Taoist, or, I'll make up my own religion. I don't know. But apparently, yeah.
Your religion adheres to all the other religions. You practice them all.
Yes, multi-denominational. That's what I am. I've got one of them little hats. Only mine's got a propeller on it. I had to pay more for it. But yeah, the yarmulkes with the propellers cost more. That's why a lot of Jewish people don't wear them. All right, 10 minutes. Let me talk real quick about this show I saw last night on Discovery Channel. And I advise everybody to catch it if you're in the least bit curious as to what the future holds. The show is called Next World, Living in the Future. Now, it was broken down into sections, different technologies. One of the things that, is already happening is something they call telepresence, where you can be somewhere without actually being there. And they gave an example of a lady that works, I believe the company is Cisco. Her office is in LA, but she lives in Texas. So she goes into an office in Dallas, logs on, and at her desk in Los Angeles is a screen. And when she logs on, she pops up on a screen in LA. And her boss, she says, "Good morning, boss," or whatever, and he turns around and says, "Good morning, you're late."
She'd be early because the time zone difference.
Oh, I wonder how they work that. I don't know. I'll have to watch the show again, see if they mention anything about that. I might have dozed off. But she said the one thing is she's got friends in LA that she sees, not only talks to, but sees every day because they walk in front of her screen. And she said once a week they all get together and have coffee. And it showed a bunch of these girls in Los Angeles all standing around the screen drinking coffee. And the girl on the screen drinking coffee. But they do that now. A lot of the insurance companies and stuff, Andrea was telling me that DeGrange uses video conferencing and things like that. They arraign people, have court appearances through video. To where the people don't even have to leave the jail. They just move them into a room in front of a camera. And that's it. They look at the judge on TV. I was thinking about getting a co-host that was on TV. Thought maybe I can get Kelly Ripa. I'll just start taping shows from Regis and Kelly and cut out Regis and bring Kelly on on a TV next to me. Might be fun. But that sounded kind of cool, the whole telepresence thing. They're even talking about where you can send like holographic projection type of stuff, which just seemed like to me that was just too far out. The video stuff I could, on a screen, I could get. You know, but having a hologram walk in and sit down on the chair next to you, you know, is just, no, that's too weird. Another thing that was really weird is something that they call smart dust, which is little computers. Computers that are smaller than a grain of rice. And they can coat places with them. They figure if they sprinkle them on roads, on all the roads in the world, they can tell you where the traffic jams are, where the accidents are, you know, how fast the traffic's going. If you put this smart dust all over an office building, as soon as you walk through the door, it would recognize you. The elevator would automatically punch the floor that you go to. Your computer would turn on. Your light in your cubicle would turn on. You know? And that's weird. That is very weird, because that's the whole, if it's possible to watch and keep track of people, somebody will. And the best way to lose your freedoms is to lose your privacy. Once you lose your privacy, you have no freedom. And if the government is always watching you, that's it. So that kind of freaked me out. Another cool thing that I thought was really neat was what they're talking about doing to sidewalks and airport terminals, bus terminals. They've got pressure-sensitive plates that they can put down that as you walk, you create a small electrical charge. And it's like a minute electrical charge for every step that you take. But you look at rush hour on a New York City sidewalk, you know, a busy airport terminal where you've got hundreds and thousands of people walking. You can generate a lot of power. And they figure if they build sidewalks like that in cities like New York, they could create enough power to run all the street lights in New York just from the foot traffic, which is a very great thing. The other thing they were talking about in big cities, sky farms, where you actually farm inside in buildings that are designed for farming. They use the example of 30-foot or 30-story building as big as a New York City block, 30 stories. If they had 4 of them scattered among the boroughs in New York, they could produce enough food to sustain the entire population of New York City. In 4 buildings. And you can grow anything inside. You know, you don't have to have the right geographical location. If you're indoors, you can replicate that geographical location. And you could grow coconuts in New York City. That saves, you don't have to truck the stuff. Somebody in New York wants the vegetables, they go down to the corner to the farm. You know, to the farm scraper or whatever. And that was neat. They mentioned the name Dean Kamen. And I believe he's the guy that invented the Segway. He's come up with this thing called the Slingshot Water Purifier. It's got a capability of purifying 1,500 liters of water per day with next to nothing for a cost. And what it does is it boils, the polluted water goes in, gets boiled to the point of steam, and then apparently the steam goes through a steam generator or something before it gets condensed back into pure water. And all the pollutants stay in the main tank and get cleaned out. But once the first cycle is done, it basically, because of its closed loop system, it basically powers itself. You figure 1,500 liters of water a day is enough water for a small village in one of these little third world countries. So, but it was called Next World. So check it out, man. I'll get a couple of these. The average person will spend 2 weeks over their life waiting for traffic lights to change. Yep. Less than 1% of all road accidents in Canada involve moose. Less than 1%. Here's a cool fact. Galileo became totally blind just before his death. It's probably because he was constantly looking through his telescope at the sun.
Son. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's an idiot. You're more likely to lose your hearing than any of the other senses if you're hit by lightning. The hearing is the first thing that'll go. Earth is traveling through space at 660,000 miles per hour. That's fast, yeah. Yeah, and they think 45 down Court Street's fast. Here's something that probably wasn't in the movie. The Apollo 11 had only 20 seconds of fuel left when it landed. Yeah. So, all right. I want to thank my crew, Rob and Bruce and Greg, and thank Tarzan for his great segment. Up next on No Spin, a very special episode of No Spin. Tonight, well, a lot of people say that No Spin never has any Republicans on their show, which is just crap because I know I've seen Molly Kelly on. Tonight is Republican night. I know for a fact Tom Eaton, senatorial candidate, is going to be there. Peace.